Hey folks, today I'm going to be explaining the counterintuitive reason why XP reward monoliths actually give the most items out of any other echo reward. So this is going to sound a little bit weird, but bear with me, and it all hinges on COF. So the scenario I'm going to explain is, say you have two monoliths to choose between in your path. One of them is a unique item, and the other one is XP. So say maybe you're like level 100 or something and you're like, wow, I don't need XP, that's useless. I'm going to explain why that's not the case. And the main point is the XP from the tomes actually gives you favor for COF, which, as you know, you use on Prophecies, which Prophecies give you items. So essentially, you can convert experience into items. So what I wanted to find out is how effective is the conversion of XP into items. Um, so I'll go into my spreadsheet real quick. So I just used the unique items as a baseline because it makes for an easy comparison. Because it's very clear you'll get one unique item and the alternative is XP tomes. So how many uniques do you get for XP tomes? So the first test I did was I wanted to determine if corruption affects the amount of favor that you get from XP tomes, and I determined that that was not the case. Then I also tested if whether you got 3 or 6 affected the amount of XP you got per tome, and I concluded that that was also not the case. So the next thing I did was I looked at a bunch of prophecies and I determined how much you get, how many of the items you get, and how much it costs. And I used that to determine the average favor cost per unique item. So here you see with this current configuration, it's about 900 favor per unique, and the amount of favor you get from the monolith is 1400. So right now, with just the baseline, you get 1.57 times more uniques from an XP monolith than an actual unique item reward monolith. So that's already pretty crazy, but it gets even crazier once you start adding lenses. So the lenses have a sort of a twofold effect. For one, it isn't 2 times the cost, but it does give 2 times the reward. So that's already one bonus. The other bonus is that relative to the reroll cost, you get more reward. So like say you reroll twice and you get 2 items for 2,000, right? So the rerolls make up a much larger chunk of the total cost than if the item costs more, or if the total favor is more. So here you look at the costs, including rerolls. When I add the lens, the cost goes down. And if I add quantity, you can see the cost goes down again, and the ratio gets better for the XP monolith. And what's really crazy is when you add the rank 10, which doubles again, it gets even crazier. So at this point, you're getting 4.3 times more uniques from an XP monolith than a regular unique. Pretty crazy stuff. Um, so the rerolls does affect it. So like if you're rerolling a lot to get what you want, you'll see that the effectiveness of the XP monolith goes down because the conversion rate of XP to unique gets worse. So even at 10 here, 10 rerolls, you're still coming out ahead pretty significantly, even without COF rank 10. But 10 is kind of a lot, probably not rerolling that many times. So I think on average, you're probably going to get about twice as many. So exalts is going to be a little bit different, but I didn't really feel like doing the math for that because it is a bit more complicated. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Another thing is the COF rank 5. So this won't actually change the ratio because it affects the average uniques and the average XP tomes equally. But if you want to see, there it is, that's the difference. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, and that's why you should continue to run XP monoliths even after level 100. Cheers.